I'm Brendan Gulick. Welcome to Buckeye Breakdown. Hey, I got to cut you off. We got some breaking news here. I'm totally not surprised by this, but according to Patrick Murphy at 247 Sports, Jack Miller just entered the transfer portal. So let's talk Jack Miller for a second here. Look, I guess after what happened, he was probably a long way from getting back on the field. He wasn't suspended. They didn't pull his. Okay, he was suspended during the period where they needed to figure out what was going on legally. But his scholarship wasn't pulled. He wasn't kicked off the team. He made a mistake, and that's that. But you have to think that, especially at the end of the Michigan State game, Quinn Ewers came in and took a couple of snaps. Kyle clearly cemented him as the number 2 guy. I mean, I kind of thought this was inevitable, and I wish Jack well, but, even in the beginning of the year in quarterback camp, or I should say in the quarterback battle in camp, it became a pretty clear 2-horse race, I thought, fairly quickly.
Yeah, I would actually say this is probably the best move for him on a personal level. And in many ways, I'm actually respect to him for essentially sticking it out through the whole season. I think not many of us who aren't, I think those of us who have a pretty pragmatic view of this, kind of the nature of college football now with transfers, I don't think any of us would really have blamed him if he'd have bounced the minute Quinn Ewers stepped on campus. Because I think
I can tell you with 100% certainty that Jack Miller wanted to transfer earlier this year and was essentially talked off the ledge and basically said, "Hey, you're right in the thick of things. Stick around." So perhaps this was just a inevitable outcome.
Yeah, inevitable is actually, I think, the best word. And also I think it's important too that one of the things that I think is important for Ryan Day and Ohio State as a destination to play, right? It's important that they maintain the type of kind of atmosphere, if you will, as a program that says day one, everybody for the most part is going to be on an equal playing field. You have, manifest destiny. You can go out and you can control how much you want to play, all of that, right? And if at the end of all those position battles, you are, located here in the depth chart, and, essentially that doesn't change over the course of a season. If at the end of the season you feel like you can do something better elsewhere or play more elsewhere, they should absolutely be a program that's willing to be like, yeah, go ahead. We wish you the best, right? And that, because that is absolutely the climate in which, we are at in college football. So it's smart that they can kind of, continue to cultivate that and advertise it as a place where that can happen. Right. And so, and I think in Jack's case, especially it's, respect for him for not transferring, after the Akron game or whatever, because I'll be honest, we see that every week with guys. I mean, an Ohio State player quit in the middle of the game this year. Right. The nature of the game on a college level has changed drastically since, even 5 years ago. So it's important and that they're able to kind of help that along a little bit. So, definitely looking forward to, Jack transferring probably somewhere in the Big 12 or UCLA. Or not UCLA, USC would be my 2 guesses. If you paid attention to any of the college football news over the last while. If you know anything about who was recruiting Jack, you might be reading between the lines there a little bit. But and that's a different podcast for a different day. but wish him the best. And if he's lighting up, Big 12 defenses down that way or in over in the Pac-12, can't wait to watch that. Good for him.
Yeah, by the way, I can confirm here, it was not just reported, but actually posted on Twitter. Jack Miller himself posted on his Twitter account, basically thanking everybody for having him within the program. He said, I would like to thank everyone in Buckeye Nation for accepting me. Since the first day I thought about coming to Ohio State, I've decided to leave Ohio State and look at opportunities available to me to play the game I love. I will always love my brothers and my coaches, wish them great success, but for me, it's time to get on the field. The coaches have prepared me to face the future head on and with confidence. I will always be thankful for the time they spent with me. Thank you all. God bless. I should say thank you all, and God bless the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, it certainly sounds like he's leaving on good terms. This is certainly not a Kayvon Pope situation. But, I think nobody in Ohio State's fan base right now is Jack Miller's leaving? No way. But more, is he the only one? CJ Stroud is the guy. And especially after the year he's had, he's the guy. And so the question becomes, okay, Kyle McCord, Quinn Ewers, are you willing to stay and know that you are always literally one snap away from being thrown into a game that you are absolutely needed? Because, Ohio State fans know it better than anybody else with what happened during a national championship run and having to go through multiple quarterbacks. You got to have depth at that position. The good news is Ryan Day is the kind of recruiter and quarterback coach that he's always going to be able to develop and recruit depth at that spot. But the question will be, how much are the guys in that room always going to be team centric and willing to put personal things aside? Because you don't go play college football as a quarterback unless you think you can play. Like, that's part of it, man. You got to be a dynamic leader if you want to be a starting quarterback for a Power 5 school. You got to have it, and there's not a lot of guys that have it. And are you willing to be Joe Burrow and then maybe transfer and go try to launch your career, as a grad transfer? I mean, college football's changing like crazy with these transfer rules now. So I mean, this is going to become routine, I think.